everyone, Tony D and little Joan. Little Joan was feeling cozy, so kept her in a little bed. And this is the Piney podcast. Today, beer virus news. Got like 400 cases, 36 deaths. Transmission rate is down to 8.4. If the death rate goes through the roof, Phil, but the transmission rate still goes down, are you still gonna open things up? Also, the other news in beer virus, there was some house party that everybody's panicking about, and someone had the beer virus and spread it to a group of 15 to 19-year-old teenagers because it was a house party, and so now everybody's freaking out and they're cooperating with authorities, but they're worried, but the governor's saying, well, no one's in trouble. Yeah, yet until the fines start coming, until the threats start happening. I can see where this is going. I can totally see where this is going. In order to keep you safe, we have to know where you are. We have to know where your children are. And if you don't, well, see, since no one really wants to comply with this stuff, we have to force you. We don't want to, but we have to. Meanwhile, Dr. Fauci gets to go to a baseball game in person and take off his mask with his friends and relax. Rules for thee, but not for me. Yeah, that's what's great about being in government, right? Anywho, nothing much else going on in South Jersey. A house in Sicklerville was struck by lightning and caught fire. Fortunately, the family escaped, so no one was hurt. But it sounds like the house is a complete loss. I told you before, don't mess around with lightning. It's very, very bad. Right, Joan? Joan, don't look at the cat. If the cat comes, ignore the cat. Here, we're going to put this on your head so you can't see the cat. What else? Oh, yeah. The PATCO high-speed line in Collingswood is closed because someone apparently was killed on the tracks. This is an exceedingly rare event in South Jersey, and for those of you who don't know, the PATCO is the train that runs from, it starts in Lindenwold and goes into Philly and goes through some of the South Jersey towns here. Collingswood's about halfway up. It has a fairly stellar record in terms of safety. It only derailed once in its almost 60-year history, maybe twice, and a few people got hurt. I don't know how many people have been killed on the tracks. I recall at least one other story years ago where someone got killed on the tracks, but I believe that was a maintenance worker. They're not saying that this time. No one's quite sure who this is. So be aware if you take the PATCO, maybe some delays, especially if you're trying to get on at the Collingswood stop. So there you go. That's about it. Oh, well, this is kind of a South Jersey thing. It's really more of a South Philly thing, but I thought I'd mention it. Tony Luke's, for those of you who don't know, is a sandwich shop in South Philly. And the famous Tony Luke Jr., I actually sort of know him. I met him on the set of one of the movies that I wrote, and because he was in it, and he's an actor too. He is the famous Tony Luke Jr., who, he's been on like the Food Network and stuff, and he's got the chain of Tony Luke's sandwich places. This is his brother and his father, his older brother, I believe. They're being investigated for tax evasion for millions of dollars. So that's a shame. That's a shame. They apparently had a falling out in 2015 and aren't really. I don't know if they're not speaking, but it sounds that way. It sounded that way from the newspaper article. So that's just a little local color there. And speaking of food and places that sell it, The estimate initially was that we'd lose 10% of our restaurants in New Jersey. Now the number's closer to 23%. So nearly a quarter of the restaurants will shutter permanently, thanks to Tyrant Phil Murphy of Goldman Sachs bungling of this lockdown. And saw a great video today from Sargon of Akkad. Mostly it's about the UK, but basically he compares a lot of different countries and some of the statistics, and the evidence is indicating that the lockdown didn't do any good. It may have slowed things down and flattened the curve, but it couldn't stop the inevitable, which is that we're all eventually going to get this. That it's in the population, you can't stop it. Hey, look, with a 2-week incubation period that you can't see, how could you stop it? How could you stop this? You know, even if you tell everybody, you know, you're just walking around and you don't feel sick and you have the sickness. It's not until you have a symptom that you're going to do something. People can be walking around right now with the virus and they don't know it. They don't have any indication they've been exposed to it. And you can get it in very easy ways. You can touch a surface and touch your mouth. You could eat a sandwich that was prepared by somebody who coughed or has it. You know, the best thing you could do is mitigate it. That's it. There's even a study now that's saying the mask really doesn't do anything. It's really the social distancing. So I don't know. I think the mask would help in terms of people who already have it to not spread it, but people are more upset about the damn virus now. When the virus was killing 4,000 people a day in New Jersey, you know, and that was back in April. Now it's practically gone, and it's like they got to double and triple the penalties. You know, we have this quarantine from other states, 31 other states. We didn't have that at the beginning of this. And that is when people would have went, oh yeah, better quarantine other people from other states. I mean, now you're going to quarantine people from other states? That just can't work. It can't work. People come in and out of our state all the time. New Jersey's not only the Garden State, they also sometimes call it the Corridor State. People pass through Jersey all the time. The best thing you could do is, again, wear the mask, social distance, wipe everything down, and just be aware of it. You know, this politicization of the virus, it's not helping anyone. And in fact, some evidence suggests you may be making it worse by keeping people in. Right, Joan? Joan doesn't like to be in. She likes to be outside in the sun. So, and it's not going to help everybody to go out of business. This isn't the plague. This isn't the Middle Ages. Yes, some people die. Those are the people who are vulnerable. I told you, go to the nursing homes, go to the vulnerable people, set up defenses for them specifically, keep everybody away from them. Keep them in a sterile environment. That's where you could spend your money realistically and help people. Not badgering healthy people. Okay, these kids were 15 to 19. The chances of them dying from the beer virus are infinitesimal. They could be tested. Test them. But your tests aren't even that reliable. The only sure way would be to quarantine them for a month and hope they could stand it for a month. It's not going to happen. This isn't working. Okay? Quarantine everybody is just destroying the economy so a certain political party can get an edge and walk in and say, see, we would have handled this much better. Is that how you want to win? By hurting people? It's not the way to do it. Just stop this. Let people out. Let them figure it out. If people get sick, we'll deal. We'll deal with it. How about using the hydrochlorosone and the Z-Pack and the zinc and all that? Seems to be working for a lot of people.